Everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here today with a layout using my stash kit number 3 for 2017. This is the third stash kit that I've created for this year, and I'm working my way through it. So the very first thing I did is I didn't make you watch through all of this, but I am trimming down my photos. So I have a variety of sizes here. I have one 4x6, one 4x4 kind of. I had a white border and I'm just trimming that down. And then a whole bunch of smaller printed ones. Now all those smaller ones are screenshots from Facebook or saved photos from Facebook or text messages, so they're not always the best photos, but I did want to include them because there are some really cute photos of two of my nephews, and I like to capture those types of moments since I don't see them very often. Well, I mean, I see them usually once a month or once every other month, but because we don't live near each other, but I steal my sister's photos of their children and I like to include them in my scrapbook. So I'm just kind of flipping through all my supplies, trying to figure out what I want to include. There are a lot of cards in this kit, and the paper pack that I really kind of started with has a lot of cut apart cards on it. So there's a lot of different directions that I could go with this layout, and I'm kind of getting a feel for it as I go. There were these two 4x6 cards. One says Newsflash, and then one has that grid with the arrows, and I'm really going to use those to kind of determine how the rest of my layout is going to be. I also have this photo on the bottom right, the square one, the 4x4 square picture, and that is the design team that I was on for Sunshine Stamp Company. I was on there, I think it was a 6-month term. It was either 6 or 8-month term. I can't exactly remember. But that's the little like group photo of all the team members, and so I wanted to include that because that was really, really a fun thing that I was able to participate in, and I really appreciated everything that they let me participate in. I just think it was so much fun. But I really want to put it on a pink card because, you know, it's a lot of ladies and it's scrapbooking, and it's just, I like pink, so I wanted to include it on there. But in order to kind of tie it with the other two cards, which are mostly orange, yellow, and blue or teal, I needed to include some pink somewhere else. So I'm going to use that triangular pink 6x6 page at the very top left of my layout currently to put on that arrow card, and then that will kind of tie a couple different tones of pink together, so I can then include this currently enjoying card as well. Now, I like that little currently enjoying card because I had a place for you to put a date. I had the little sentiment at the bottom, and then I had a little square place for you to put a photo or maybe journaling. And so I'm going to trim down that photo of my nephew playing with the dishwasher door. He had started, I think she said he had started on his little play mat and had worked his way towards the dishwasher as she was cleaning the kitchen. So I just thought that was such a cute photo of my nephew. So I'm going to trim it down to fit in this little spot. So I've got all of my cards trimmed. Because I use different cards from different manufacturers, I sometimes have to trim them to make sure that they all fit in the pockets nicely. And I just use a Project Life 3x4 card to trim out my cards and round the corners. That way they're all nice and neat and they all match up. I don't necessarily like seeing the card behind and on the other side of the pocket whenever I'm looking at a page, so I always trim those cards to be exactly the same. It just, for me, for my sanity, it's nicer. And then I leave all of my 3x4 all of my 4x6 pockets with squared corners because I like to print my photos with white borders, especially my 4x6 photos, and I don't want to round those corners because I feel like that's going to mess up the white border. So I always use squared 4x6 cards. Now, I do have a lot of rounded corners on 4x6 cards, but I have no problem trimming those down and matting them on a white piece of cardstock. It all actually ends up looking pretty cohesive because I've got the white borders anyways on my photos. So this is the basic layout here. I've got everything kind of placed down where I want it, and now I'm going to start embellishing. I'm going to start embellishing. I have used a sticker down here at the bottom. This is from the Chamel sticker sheet, and it's just a little diagonal stripe. It just brings a little bit of interest down to this card. This one is going to have a lot of journaling on it and just a few decorative elements. There's not going to be a ton of decorative elements on that card. But I really wanted to include this story because that was a really big deal for me to be on that design team. And this is how I work with my kits, whether they're large kits or small kits. I kind of get the cards figured out and then I start embellishing. Now, sometimes something will speak to me throughout the sorting through the cards, and I'll go ahead and stick something down like an embellishment. But typically, I figure out all of the cards, lay them down, and then I embellish. That's kind of my process. And I, trim all my cards and everything before I start embellishing, because I just feel like it'd be too hard to trim the cards after you embellish. It's just sometimes it's very difficult. Now, I'm going to make a huge boo-boo here in a second, and I feel like such an idiot, but I spelled my nephew's name wrong, which is absolutely awful. I'm going to use these rub-ons, and I swear I know how to spell my nephew's name, but for some reason, I think as I was using the rub-ons, I was getting so caught up in making sure the letters were even that I don't know, lost my mind for whatever reason. So this particular nephew's name is Finn, and he spells it Fynn, and I spelled it Finn, as you can see here. So later, and you won't see this on camera, but later I just take a piece of that same card. I had another one in the one with the tab. The tabbed card is smaller than a 4x6 card, so I can't really use it in a 4x6 pocket because I would see the card on the other side. So I had already planned to trim down that tabbed card, so I just cut a piece of it off and make a little square to fit right over the fin because I couldn't get it off. I tried to scrape it off with my X-Acto knife, but I just do the rub-ons again on a little card, and then on that same material, card with the same material, and then just glue it right on top of it. So you can't even tell. But I felt like such an idiot because afterwards I was looking and I was like, oh my God, I spelled his name wrong. And I don't have another one of those cards, so I really couldn't recreate it. I just had to fix it. There's this photo of Kaylin, and this photo had a ton of colors in it and a lot of wood, different wood tones because of the flooring and the table and a cabinet in the background. So I made it black and white, and this is a picture of Kaylin and I playing some game. I don't even know what kind of game it was, but he is convinced, whether he knows the rules or not, he always finds some sort of way to beat you. He loves games, and he's actually fairly good at it because he plays a lot of games. Uno was one of his absolute favorite, and boy, that kid is brutal in some Uno. Battleship, he loves Battleship. He really, really loves Monopoly, and he wants to play the real one. And he likes Scrabble. He's getting into Scrabble as well as he's learning more words. But it's funny because I wanted to include that because we play a lot of games. I don't always capture a lot of the games because usually I have to pay attention and make sure that I'm not letting this kid beat me. There's no letting him beat you. You really have to play. You have to pay attention. So I don't normally capture a lot of the photos of those games because I'm playing them. So I had taken a picture of him here, and I just wanted to kind of include that. And so I just put the caption game time, and then I am going to put a small label here, and it's going to say always trying to beat someone. I had a little embellishment pack from Hobby Lobby, and I took out its puffy stickers, and it had like burlap stickers and things like that. So I take off the live, laugh, and love, and I put that on that quote card. I was trying to come up with a quote that I had remembered from around that time, but I couldn't come up with one, and I really like the boldness of the black lettering, and it's puffy too, so it adds some dimension. All right, I use those same rub-ons to include the caption of Yum Sand because that's a picture of Finn eating sand. And then I'm also going to put a sticker down here that says, I'm pretty sure Finn loved it, because this picture is he's just shoving handfuls of sand like in his mouth. This is my other nephew. So Finn is on the bottom where it says Finn turns 1, and he's also on the Yum Sand picture. And then the other two photos here are of my other nephew, Warren, and one says, yep, this is good stuff. And it's him holding my sister's coffee cup, pretending like he's drinking it. Now, obviously, he's way too young to drink coffee, and he was not drinking coffee, believe me, but it's just funny because he's got his tongue stuck out of his mouth, like he's like, And my sister really she likes coffee a lot, so she definitely has a lot of coffee cups sitting around. So it's funny with this picture because it's like, And then I already told you about the dishwasher one. So let's see. So that gray card had some script printing on it, and it actually says February is what it says. But I wanted the gray because I felt like it tied in with the black and white photo at the bottom of the design team and the black and white photo at the top of Kaylin playing games with me. And I wanted to include a little bit of that weight of that gray here on the left side of the layout because those are in the very top and the bottom on the right side. So that's why I chose that 3x4 card in the gray tones. I know it probably looks a little out of place, but it really helped balance the page. Now I've kind of gotten the words down that I want to. I've kind of got the bulk of my layout down. Now I'm going back through all of my embellishments, and again, this is how I work. I go through cycles. I'm going back through all my embellishments as I start to clean up my desk. So I'm really like unloading everything out of my kit, put it all kind of a basic layout with the cards. Then I go back through and I kind of basically embellish everything. And then as I'm putting all of the supplies back in my box where I keep my kit, I look through each thing to see if I want to add anything else. And I'm constantly rearranging the layout, straightening my cards, going through all my little piles of embellishments, as you can see here. I kind of pick out a bunch of things sometimes to think that I might use it. Like those were some pink tones of different things that I might use. And so I keep them on the side of my layout at all times, all throughout embellishing this layout. So I can just kind of pull from them. And I did pull some different blue toned things because I have that Live, Laugh, Love card in the blue. So I pulled out a few different things like this little star or asterisk on the Finn Turns 1 card. That kind of brings a little bit of that blue in as well. All right, now I'm finishing up my real extensive journaling here, and this was just a tag that I had in my color sorted embellishments. I don't know where they were from. All of these embellishments in this little bucket that I have sitting to the side are from my color sorted embellishments, and those are different things that were either given to me or little bits of kits that were left over or things that I cut out of paper. A lot of random things are in there, and I don't know what they are from. But I like to I actually typically prefer to pull embellishment like ephemera packs, but I periodically like to pull my color sorted things because, those are some older products sometimes, or maybe not older products, but things that I haven't used in a while. So sometimes it's nice to have something a little fresh to use. Okay, so on this card, there is that top arrow, and it's like an orangey red, and it was sticking out like a sore thumb to me. Now, it's the same color as the word flash at the bottom in Newsflash, but for some reason the orange arrow just was glaring at me. And I think it's because I kept looking at it next to the pink on that paper that I have matted behind my August calendar card. It just looked off to me, so I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to use that little circle there. I think it says whatever, and I'm going to layer some word strips over top of it, so it's not going to say whatever, but I'm gonna layer that right over that orange arrow at the top, so you cannot see it because it's bothering me. I'm just adding a few little arrows. I had this Recollections planner sticker sheet. I have a whole bunch of them. I think there was like a pack of 5 of them. This planner sticker sheet. And when I was putting my kit together, I came across this and I was like, you know what? This would be kind of nice because it has little arrows and little hearts and little circle embellishments and a few little labels. And I thought it was interesting how much I'm actually using it. So I didn't expect to use it quite as much as I have. There's a couple flags and some scallop borders and a little party banner. And there's things that say like Bill do and things like that, but I figured I could always layer things over that if I want. And there was even one that said, don't forget. And I put that under the Newsflash, on that Newsflash card under the Newsflash to kind of, it's a big deal. Finn's turning 1. He turned 1, which is really cute. Now, he's already turned 2 because these are from last year. These are from 2016, August 2016. So you can't see it, but my desk is getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as I go. I'm kind of playing around with this top card to see how I can cover up that orange arrow, and this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to mess this up, and I'm going to put it all down, and I'm going to glue it down, and then I'm going to cut it off, and I realized that I had put it too high. And it looks funny to me, and you're going to see in a second. But I'm going to replace that, and I'm not going to make you watch me replace it, but look how close those words are to the top. That looks weird to me. So I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to do it again, and it's going to look a lot better this time when I put it down. There you go. Much more space above the words. And those words just say, trust your crazy ideas. Just a random sentiment, but it's always relevant to me, and trust your crazy ideas. I'm coming towards the end of this layout. I'm just adding a few little bits. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever, and I will chat with you guys later. All right, guys, bye.